Will my kids be weird if I homeschool them? Or will they be friendless geeks? Or will the only way they'll be able to hold a conversation is to quote lines from Napoleon Dynamite? Hey mom, so welcome back to my channel. I am Jody the mom from lifeunbox.blog, and this is our Momtrepreneur coffee chat. So this is unscripted, where we pull out a topic and we just talk about it kind of off the cuff, and I share a few thoughts on it. So before we get into that, I do want to remind you that Mother's Day is quickly approaching. So the time when your children get to buy you more presents. So I have lots of stuff at the Life Unbox blog store. I put a whole page together for Mother's Day gifts. So I will leave that link below. And also the latest journal, Super Mom. So I like these journals and I like the size because I can slip them into my purse and I can use them for whatever I want. And they're dot grid journals. So basically you could draw, you could write lists, this way if you wanted to, however you want to do it. Like the journals are super versatile. And so on the back, it says life doesn't come with a manual, it comes with a mother. So I will leave the link to the entire store so you can get more Mom Boss swag. And also the journal is available. And this was made specifically for Mother's Day. So be sure to send the link to your kids. Anyway, so let's talk about this. And I have a few notes, so I'm looking down. So I decided to change up the scenery a little bit. This is my creative corner. And it is just a small little corner because there's a house full of 8 of us, so it's a little difficult to always find space. And I'm also recording during the day. Usually I record once the kids are in bed, but again, I'm just spicing up the videos a little bit. And so changing things up. So if you hear a lot of background noise, that's why. It's because the kids are awake. So again, these coffee chats are a time where we just pull out a topic that's on your mind and we talk. And so let's get some coffee. So I wanted to talk about homeschool and socialization because it doesn't matter how long homeschooling has been around, how many people have done it successfully. This is still the number one question that a lot of parents have. And it's okay to have the question. It's okay to wonder about it. And so let's talk about it. I am a second generation homeschooler, and no, I've never seen Napoleon Dynamite. That was directed for a friend, and you know who you are. I've never seen Napoleon Dynamite, but I do have 6 kids that I am currently homeschooling. 16, 14, 12, 8, 4, almost 5, and 2. So the 2-year-old, I just throw her in there because she wants to be a part of the group. And I can say that I did not grow up a friendless geek. My kids have not grown up to be friendless geeks either. There is a lot of involvement. Now, I understand, like, when you send them to school, it's kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but you don't think about it and you don't necessarily worry about it because they're always in a group of kids their own age. But let me pose this question to you. At any time in your life after school, when are you in a group where you're all the same age? Like, never. I mean, even in my own household, my husband's 8 years older than me, and that's almost like a whole nother generation there. He's a Gen Xer. I'm supposedly a millennial, but I'm still debating that one. But anyway, it's not reality. So you have kind of like this institutionalized socialization when it comes to public school. And because it's the way we've always done it, we just kind of accept it as the standard. So, but is that really the standard you want to have? There are so many issues that my kids do not deal with because they are not in public school. Body image, just to name one. That's not something that we deal with because there's no really comparison. Yes, my daughter has friends, but because the group of friends are not consumed by body image like you would come across kind of in a public school system or setting, that's not something that we have to necessarily deal with. Now, she's 12, that could change. So, social media. They have not once asked me to be on social media. And the answer would be no if they did want to be on it. But just with that one thing, you are eliminating so many issues. Like I was listening to a podcast today and they were talking about how kids are more unhappy, kids are more depressed, and all of these different things and the emotional things that go along with it. And I am just sitting there thinking, like, I'm so grateful that my kids are pretty genuinely happy kids. They would never want to go into public school. So the 4 oldest have all been in the public school environment, and they would never want to go back into it. So how do you socialize then as a homeschooler? Well, by default, because there are 6 of us, we're kind of in a small school all to ourselves, they get social interactions from their siblings. So that's the first way. There's tons of social interaction from their siblings, conflict resolution, all of those things that we consider skills that need to be cultivated. They get all of that and in spades. So that's the first one. The second one is we do participate in a co-op. So a co-op is a group of parents that get together to teach and to share knowledge. Our co-op is very much oriented around more extracurricular classes as opposed to academic classes. And I like that. I would rather they have a bunch of classes to choose from that are fun and kind of give them a taste of different things and to tap into their artistic side than necessarily academic classes. Now, we've had academic classes before. We've had parents who decided, like, hey, if all the kids want to do this science curriculum, I will do the experiments that go along with it. I love those classes. Those are the best classes because then I don't have to do anything and we can all pool together to get all the supplies needed for the science experiments. So a co-op is a great way to participate. And where we live, we also have a very active homeschool community in general. So they're putting on a spring formal dance. There's usually there's been field days in the past years. There's back to school picnics. Like there's a lot of opportunities and activities organized through this other organization that's not an official co-op that also gives them opportunities for socialization. My oldest son is working, so that is also creating socialization. So honestly, as a homeschooler, it's not a question of how am I going to find socialization? How are we going to socialize? It's more like, what am I going to have to say no to? What are going to be the important things to say yes to and the unimportant things that I will have to say no to? Because there's so many things that are happening and going on that it's easy to get caught up into always saying yes and wearing yourself out. So if you're interested in doing a homeschooling co-op or participating in a homeschooling co-op, I have another show on that as well. So I'll be sure to leave the link below. So if you are contemplating homeschooling your kids and your biggest question is, but what about socialization, if I can say it correctly, put your mind at ease. That is usually, like, to be honest, that's like the furthest thing from our minds when it comes to homeschooling. Like homeschool moms are not worried about their kids being friendless geeks or only being able to carry a conversation using lines from Napoleon Dynamite. Okay, so you can homeschool. Your kids can be very social. And again, I am a second generation homeschooler and I moved. Okay, so it's not like I lived in this one town my whole life and knew all the kids. No, we moved all through my school years. And so it required me making friends outside of the institutionalized socialization. And I was very successful at it. It was something that can be done. So you have choices to join a homeschool co-op, which I would highly recommend. And if you need to find one in your area, either look in Facebook groups, local Facebook groups, or you can look on the HSLDA website. They have lists of co-ops as well. You can start doing extracurricular activities as well. You could start a group that focuses on homeschool extracurricular activities, and not just you, get a group of parents together and do dances, do field day, do field trips, do all of those things, and your kids will make friends through those activities. And for you, mom, I would recommend also participating in something. Like I know our one of our homeschool groups offers like mom's nights, and we also have done a book club. So I did another show on why you should join a book club, just for the intellectual stimulation and the mom conversations that you can have. It's really beneficial for you because you are surrounded by kids 24/7. You need just to take, even if it's just a couple hours, like every 6 weeks, to have an adult conversation. I know when I'm sitting in church and they're always like, we need volunteers for children's ministry. I'm like, I can't do it. I seriously cannot do it. I cannot say like, yeah, I want to go volunteer for that because I'm always surrounded by kids. So keep those in mind. Okay, socialization is not a difficult thing to do. The hardest part is going to be saying no and what to say no to. Find your mom groups, find your homeschool groups. They are out there and they want to meet. So the homeschoolers are some of the most open groups to people because we understand that we are all in this together and that we're doing this together. So find your groups, find your tribes, and don't worry about socialization. There's more things to worry about. And also the benefit, because they're not in the institutionalized socialization, they don't have phones except they only use their phones when they have a phone. It is not a smartphone. It cannot access the internet. It cannot download any apps. Originally they had a flip phone, and I used to text them when they would go to their youth group events just so they had to pull it out and respond to me because I'm that kind of mom. And sometimes I would text them and say, I just text you, so you would have to pull it out and reply to me because they were just totally embarrassed by their flip phone. So now they have other phones. They look like smartphones, but they are not smartphones. And I just tell them, when you can pay your own bill, you can get a smartphone. And that's the end of the conversation. So there's a lot of things because they don't feel entitled to. They don't feel like, well, all my friends are doing it, so I need to do it as well. They don't have all of those pressures to do something. And so it makes it really easy to be happy because they're not constantly bombarded by social media or by texts from, snotty people. You know how that goes. So that is a wrap with socialization. Let me know if you have any questions, because I do know this is a burning question. And so I wanted to talk about it, especially as we're nearing the end of our school year. And so there's going to be thinking like, what am I doing next year? Do I want to do this? And so be sure to share this with a friend. If you know someone who's been worried about or questioning whether they should homeschool or not, and this is one of their questions, share this with them. Let me answer it for them. Again, I am a second generation homeschooler with 6 kids. I've done this a few times, and I am telling you it can be done. So that'll be a wrap for this Momtrepreneur Coffee Chat. Again, let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts on where you find other homeschoolers and get socialization. And remember to check out this week's show, which is all about how to have a baby on a budget, because I've done it 6 times. So I wanted to share that with you, and I will leave the link in the description below. And be sure to check out the other shows if you want to know how to teach a homeschool co-op class. Like, I give ideas, I give you schedules. Like, you can watch this show and you can run with teaching a homeschooling co-op class. And be sure to check out the Mother's Day gift page and send it to your kids. And I will see you in the next coffee chat.